Hi, I'm Shaunak Roy, founder and CEO of Yellowdig. It started with a simple idea. How can we drive human connections not only in the learning environment but also across learning? Yellowdig is not a technology company. We are an education company driven by technology. We are creating technology for the learner, but we have to rely on our partners to be able to implement that and learn from them what's working, what's not working.
And I teach 2 courses in a cohort master's program, and I introduced Yellowdig in my first course, and it was so successful. I then introduced it in the second one. And it's been really wonderful to see the students who naturally were craving a community because they are a cohort and they move through these experiences together, that once they had it, they really built it. And it was really an authentic, organic community that was really positive for them and their program as well as my class.
When we had to go online during COVID, one of my biggest concerns was how are we going to pull that off in an online space? I turned to Yellowdig because it was one of the only platforms I knew that had the potential for doing this. Within 5 days, we managed to build a strong community where people were gathered, sharing ideas, teaching each other about all kinds of things at a time when education really needed to come together.
What can we do about death by discussion? So what Yellowdig allowed us to do is say, okay, we want to do this paradigm shift. We want to really engage in conversation about content, and we have this whole new platform. And that has really, I think, been key to the success at Regis.
We were, like many institutions, looking for ways to improve our connection to our students. Discussion boards were not cutting it. When I came in, one of my big focuses of every institution I've been at is trying to merge this idea that the human experience can happen online and should through humanizing online learning. Yellowdig seemed like a perfect fit for us as we moved forward.
What I really like about Yellowdig is that it really gives students the opportunity to take ownership of their learning, and it takes that pressure off the instructor, where they're allowing the students to have those natural conversations that would have taken place in the classroom and instead translate it into an online platform. And it transcends space and time, so it doesn't matter when a student logs in to have that conversation. It can keep going and keep going and keep going. And it really gives them the chance to ask questions about things that are important to them or share experiences that are relevant, that they see connections with, and really be able to understand how there's relationships between what they're learning in the class and that whole community and conversation aspect really shines through.
Ingenious, it is creative, it allows for a space for conversation to happen and spontaneity to happen.
Yellowdig as a platform, I think, allows us to do what as educators we think is best practice. We know that we want to give student agency in what they talk about and how they address the content and how they make connections with that content. It allows us opportunities to let students to do that. Yellowdig allows us to step away. We can still have influence by the topics and such, but we don't have to be in control of the conversation. For me, that is very freeing, and that's what I hear from our faculty as well.
As we evaluate technology, we are leaning more towards how does this help us connect better with our students. That's one of the driving factors that we have, versus just how do we automate our learning. Because we want to make sure that going into the future that we're learning from humans, that we're all part of an ecosystem where they feel valued, they feel seen, and their voices can be heard.
This is about really having great conversation, and it's not about checking a box. And so you can open the floor up and say, anything and everything goes when it comes to the discussion. I'm not going to tell you this is exactly what you have to answer. What do you guys want to talk about? What interests you? Let's have a genuine, authentic conversation. And so Yellowdig creates an environment of community and conversation that you can't get on a traditional discussion board.
The people who work there, the people you work with when you're using the platform, are brilliant, creative, interesting, and supportive, and actually are able to help you with your teaching as you're doing it in that platform.
Every student is replying. They're replying on time. They're replying more than they need to reply, and their posts, their comments are in-depth and insightful.
Partnership with Yellowdig has been a very important part of Embry-Riddle. They work with us. They listen to crazy ideas that we have or different ways to use their systems, or if we're having even trouble maybe integrating into our own systems, that they work diligently to help solve those problems. And so that's a real testament of the strength of a company that has some core values, and that's a part of Yellowdig that we really appreciate.